The Devil's Hand in 3D. This is a 1961 release, a 1 hour and 11-minute film. The original aspect ratio was 1.85 to 1. The original sound was mono. This is filmed in 1959, but it was released in 1961, went to television in 1963. This is brought to us by the folks at Plan D. Plan D takes these movies and they convert them into 3D. They're a division of iPop. And this is a more affordable version, the Plan D. So you want to pick this up if you're interested in this type of film. This is directed by William J. Hole Jr. Hats off to William J. Hole Jr. I mean, the directing was incredibly good. Very good directing. The way the lights were, the Alfred Hitchcock-looking lights coming from below, above, to the side, absolutely fantastic. Sound score was great. Sound score really got you sucked into the ambiance and everything of this era. Okay, so it stars Linda Christian, the lovely Linda Christian, as Bianca. Absolutely gorgeous in here, beautiful woman. A lot of the reviews, the earlier reviews, say that she was the star of the show. Absolutely wonderful woman here. Robert Alda stars in here. He's Alan Alda's father. Alan Alda was in MASH, the TV series. This is his father in here. He stars as Rick Turner. He's the guy with all the problems and the decisions that he's got to make. Okay, here we go. I'm going to mispronounce his name. I know it. Ariadne Welter. Ariadne Welter plays Donna. She's going to be the wife of Rick, and she's actually the sister of Linda Christian in real life. They're actually sisters. Neil Hamilton as Francis Lamont. He is the nemesis in here. He's the high executioner. He plays an excellent part. Never breaks character. Solid actor. Absolutely fantastic job. Linda Christian and Ariadne Welter, they're sisters. They had some complaints when this was being made. It was made in a hurry. It was rushed. They didn't get paid. The studio was going through some problems financially. They didn't get paid for the longest time. In fact, I don't know if Welter even ever got paid, but she said she'd never do another movie in America again. The sisters had logged over 21 movies down in Mexico by the time this came out. Linda and Robert Alda did not like the fact that the theme changed from witchcraft to devil worship. And you're gonna hear a lot of comments here about you're a witch this, witch that, and the voodoo aspect of everything. It was more witchcraft, and then for some reason they switched it to devil worship, and they weren't too happy about that. The bongo player in here, Chano, aka Leo Johnson, quite an established musician as a bongo player. In the 50s and 60s, he actually had some albums come out based on his bongo playing ability. And there's also was a soundtrack that came out from this. Overall, this the soundtrack of the movie. It came out as a record. I don't know how well the sales have done. So what do you got here? You got this guy that's going to be getting married soon. Rick, Robert Alda. He's going to get married soon. He meets up with his girlfriend at a local park for lunch. They bump into one another, and he's having these sleepless nights. And she's like, well, you know, you haven't been sleeping well anyway. And he goes, yeah. She goes, well, we better hurry up because you only got 20 minutes for lunch. And he says, actually, I quit my job. And she's like, what? You were going to be like, what are you, the boss now or something? He said, no, I quit my job. Have some patience with me. You know, I think that sets up the fact that this guy isn't working, and so they don't have to follow him to his job during the movie. I don't know, but starts out the old park scene. That park is still there today. I'll put a picture up what it looks like now compared to what it looked like then, but the park's still there. And so now he's going home, and he's got these reoccurring dreams, and he's sitting up in bed, and he sees this woman floating up in the clouds up there, dancing. He can't get this out of his head. And so he takes walks at night. He's get this calling. Something's dragging him through the streets. he doesn't know where he's going, but he's feel led to go to this place. And now he's walking through the streets, and what I like about this is the ambiance of the 1950s, the neon signs and the cars and the bokeh in the background. And he's walking down the street, and he comes to these gates. Something's drawn him there, and he walks through these gates, and he goes back to this doll shop, and he sees a doll of the woman that's been haunting his dreams at night. And that place is still there today, by the way. You see the gates in the movie. And then I'll put a picture up here what they look like now in Los Angeles, so you could see that. Surprising to me that they're still there. And so then he gets back home, and now the woman's calling to him, and he tells his wife, he says, this future wife, he says, I got to find out what's going on. And the wife says, well, what's going on? So he takes her to the doll shop, and there's a doll there of this woman that's haunting his dreams, and a doll of his wife. And he doesn't know what's going on. And the guy, Lamont there in the background, Francis Lamont, he's running this whole thing. He's running this devil worship thing, and behind in the doll shop. Okay, if you're gonna run a devil worship place, it's best not to run it in the back of a doll shop. But that's where he chose to run it. Okay, so now he's got this calling. He wants to take this doll, and he wants to go see this woman in his dream. He finds out that this woman is real. And his wife wants the doll of her, but the man won't let him have it. And so they're walking out. The man sticks a pin in the doll of his future wife, and now she has this heart attack, and she's off to Belmont Hospital. And he's off to go find this woman that's in his dreams. And she's a real woman. And so now they got his future wife stuck in the hospital, Belmont Hospital. The building's gone now. It was actually part of the studios, but I mean, now the building's gone. And so he goes to visit her. He meets her, and she's absolutely fantastic. She's a seductress. She's an absolute seductress. She seduces him to she's all over him. All right, she's got this nightgown. I want you. She's all over him. He's like, what's going on? You can't have everything you want. She finally seduces him, and here's another thing. There's lines in here that you got to pay attention to. This movie's only an hour and 11 minutes long. But she says that she's hired this man from Tibet who was into a religion that did human sacrifice. Now that's a cue right there, what's coming up. Okay, so that's something you got to keep in your mind. Okay, and now, so she's all over him. She seduces him, and she says, you need to join our cult. And he says, yeah, maybe tomorrow, let's get it on. And she says, no, right now. We got a meeting right now. Let's head down there. So they head down to the doll shop. They go into the meeting, and they're going to do a sacrifice that night. There's this wheel up above with all these knives in it. And she explains that they're actually just sheaths, okay? Because they all look rubber. They're just bouncing around. But she explains that they're actually sheaths, and a real knife will come into the sheath of these 8 knives that are up top of this wheel. A real knife will come into one of them. And then they spin the wheel, and supposedly the devil god Ganda is going to pick which one's going to hit her. And if it just bends, it's rubber. If it bends, and she's safe. But if it goes in her, it kills her. And there's some weird thing going on with some pedals which lower this wheel. Okay, I see 6 pedals. There's 8 knives. One pedal seems to lower it. One pedal seems to raise it. So it's making me wonder who's really in control here. Is it the guy? Does he choose? Does Neil Hamilton get to pick whether or not the knife's going to go in or not? Or is this, is this a whole thing a hoax? What's going on here, with that aspect? She's also known as, you'll see there's a bust statue of a topless woman down at the base of the stairs there. And you'll notice that when Bianca comes in, she pays homage to it. And Lamont actually says that she is an incarnation of the goddess of love, that's actually she's the physical representation of that statue. So that's another little cue you got to pick up on there, she's actually the seductress for the, but you know what, this whole thing touches on human element. This whole thing touches on, how you can be sucked into a cult. and how somebody has to sponsor you to bring you into this cult, and how that sponsor is responsible for you in this cult, okay? So there's a lot of play going on in there. So he joins this cult. Meanwhile, his wife's still in the hospital. And, he quit his job. But he lives in this wonderful apartment. This absolutely beautiful apartment. In fact, it's still there today. The apartment is still there today. And it looks like it did back then. But all of a sudden now he joins this cult. His wife's still in the hospital. Now he's doing great. He goes to the horse track. He's winning at the horse track. He goes into the stockbroker, and the guy says, "You're amazing. You tell me to sell one day and buy the next, and everything's great." All of a sudden he's rolling in money. Everything's going. Meanwhile, his wife's still stuck in the hospital because they got the doll pinned up on the wall with the needle in her heart, which he finds, by the way. And he finds, he tells his girlfriend, "You're going to be better by midnight. I'm going to take this pin out of your heart, but they're not going to know about it." And then he hooks up with somebody that's not too happy with the place, and she tries to convince him to come out. And so he gets to this dilemma. And then Lamont, the main guy, he's jealous. He's jealous that she's still got this affair going on with him. And he wants it to end. And at first I thought maybe he is also a lover of hers, but it turns out I think he just wants her back into the cult and to keep bringing guys in. Anyway, the whole thing culminates and it climaxes as they bring in his wife in. They're going to sacrifice her, and now he's got to make a decision. Is he going to let this happen? Is he going to save her? What's going to happen? Pandemonium ensues, and the place goes up in flames. He drives away with his wife, and he thinks they're safe and everything's good, but Bianca has a little thing to say at the end, whether he's safe or not. And I won't spoil that part for you. I'll wait for you to watch the movie for that. Okay, so let's talk about the 3D. I'm sorry this is so long. Look, if you don't want to, if you just want to fast forward, go ahead and fast forward it. The 3D is absolutely fantastic. It's good. Here's the thing about Plan D. Here's the thing about Plan D. They run it through this process, and when they're done with it, I mean, it looks like it was filmed that way. It looks like it was filmed in 1950 in 3D. You got your glasses on, you got your popcorn, you're watching a movie. Yeah, there's a couple of artifacts here and there that flicker or something like that, but nothing that distracts you. It is absolutely amazing what they can do with these old films, how they can turn them into 3D movies. The depths are good, the separations are good. It's black and white. The interior shots, I love the interior shots. The interior shots are always my best in 3D. I love the decor of the 1950s. I love how it spaces out in the room. It's marvelous. They do a wonderful job on 3D. They always do. They got a bunch more coming out. Check it out. You can see the coming soon ones coming here. Plan D, check them out. You won't be disappointed. And hey, it's affordable. All right, so what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to give The Devil's Hand a 3D. I'm going to give it, for the movie, I'm going to give it 3.75 stars. And for the 3D, I'm going to give it 5 stars. I mean, I know what the guy's done here, and it's fantastic. It really is. All right? So check it out. You won't be disappointed. All right, I want you to hit that like and subscribe button. I got a lot more reviews coming out. I want you to have a good night. I want you to stay safe. As always, God bless.